tonight. I'm so glad you guys could be here. I think this is really exciting for downtown and for the city of Lawrence. I want to introduce a couple of people. We've got Main Street directors. Laura Hudson from Greenwood is with us tonight, and Ray Rich from Florence is with us. So we're glad they could come up and be with us tonight as well. So they do this tonight. Two other people really briefly. I want to introduce, and she will kill me for this, but Sharon Brownlee, if you don't mind standing up. Thank you. She's a former mayor who has been instrumental with me. And then our current mayor, Mr. Nathan Sin back there. And surprisingly, the attorney mayor said he didn't want to say anything. So that's surprising that he didn't. Well, we are glad you guys could be here tonight. I'm going to turn it over to Jenny, who will welcome you as well, and then I'll be around afterwards for questions. Jenny.
Thank you. It is a thrill and an honor to be back, circling back here in Lawrence, where I've cut my teeth on downtown development and starting our family. We now have 4 children. So I was joking earlier that we have expanded South Carolina's population. So you're welcome, or maybe not. But it is an honor to be here and have Lawrence pilot these transformation strategies. It's great to have peer Main Street communities observe this process. This is important for the next step. Lawrence is ready. You have tremendous leadership here, and based on the participation tonight and today's activities, it's time. Kathy LaPlante is here from the National Main Street Center. She works in the field. She just got some kind of a Cersei on her plane ride for reaching 100,000 miles. So,
1 million.
I'm sorry, 1 billion. So she is all over the nation doing these types of workshops. So it's a thrill to have her here to help guide you through what we're doing next.
Great, thanks a lot. Do you want to guess how long it takes to go 1 million miles?
How many years?
About 10.
10 years? 30.
About 10 years. I'm now at 1.2 million miles. I swore I was going to retire when I hit 1 million, but I'm not old enough. And I need health insurance. We're sticking with it. Who loves Lawrence? Yes. And why wouldn't you? What a fabulous community. This is my 3rd visit back here. I actually was on the Lawrence Resource Team visit. I'm not positive, but it's 10 years-ish around then. And then I came back and did another workshop. I think we did some board roles and responsibilities training and maybe some fundraising. So downtown revitalization is a process, and this is sort of the most advanced service for Lawrence, and something that we've really been focusing on for communities. Because before our Main Street programs, we had lots of excited volunteers who had great ideas, who said, we need to plant flowers, we should hang banners, we should fix our parking lots, and we just started doing random good projects in our downtown. And slowly our downtown started to look a little better and a little better, and we were all happy, and we started events like Squealing on the Square and Sip and Strolls that brought people into our town, and these are all great activities. But it's sort of like we were missing the real broad vision to say, where do we want our downtown to be economically? So you're at a place where you have good opportunity, right? We have some vacancies. We have some opportunity to fill those vacancies with businesses, but what kind should they be? What should we do to keep improving our public spaces? How can we encourage property owners to fix up their buildings, but that they'll also be able to make their money back off of tenants and business in those buildings? So about 4 or 5 years ago, and our program is now 40 years old. Next year will be our 40th anniversary of the National Main Street program. And so 5 years ago, we looked back and we said, let me see, let me turn this on now. And this is what the Main Street approach is all about. There was never one quick fix. Nobody ever said, let's put in historic looking light poles and downtown will be fixed, right? Let's build that aquarium in downtown and then it will be fixed. It's a process, and it's an ongoing process. Just like shopping malls have management in place, because there's about So it makes sense to have someone like Jonathan in place to manage the activities. And these are the activities that we do. We can't get anything done if we don't have a good organization. And that's where are we going to find the people? You all. And the money. And how are we going to tell our story? That's what organization is. Design is how do we get our downtown in top physical condition. So if I was a tourist driving through, it looks so good. I have to pull over and stop, check out the cool businesses in each of the historic buildings, walk around and look at the other features and interesting things, come to your museums, etc., and enjoy and learn about a community. Promotion is how do we get more people here? You know, through the sip and strolls, squealing on the square, those draw people in, not only from Lawrence, but from further out. And they come and they explore and they find businesses and things that they had not seen. But promotion is all about making the cash registers ring for your businesses as well. We want them to be successful. And then economic enhancement, we also call that economic vitality, is how do we enhance the current business mix here? How do we address the vacancies? What are we missing? What are you all leaving here to go buy elsewhere because you can't find it in Lawrence? And why don't we have it in Lawrence? And can we get it here? And how do we make you a destination so that people go, hey, they have that in Lawrence, I'm going over there. And when they come for that, they go to other things. So this is how we do downtown revitalization. You can't just do promotion. You know, we can't just put on events and festivals. We have to work on all the other pieces as well. So we came up with this whole thing about identifying what we call transformation strategies. And it's not me to come in and tell you what your transformation strategy should be, though I am coming up with a recommendation at the end of this. It's based on your input. So the first thing is, what's your vision? How many of you filled out the survey that we sent out in advance? Wonderful. I'm going to share those results from that, because a vision for downtown should not come from me. It should come from the people who live here, what you want for your downtown. But we also base it in market understanding. So what are we good at selling now? To who? So who's coming here? So throughout my visit today, we had met with the board this morning, had lunch with the mayor, did a tour. We had 3 focus groups this afternoon, meeting with business and property owners, and also related organizations like the YMCA, the county EDC, etc. So we take your vision and market information, and we come up with, hey, maybe we'd be really good at doing this. And then we sort of guide that work through the transformation strategies, make sure we have work happening in the community across the 4 points. And then here's the big one that Main Street programs weren't so good about doing before is, what is our expectation? So this morning I asked the board, what's your expectation for squealing on the square? Why do you do that project? Draws thousands into downtown, right? But what else does it do? Is it a fundraiser? Does it cause the restaurants to fill up? Do your retailers gain any benefit from it? So we want to do projects that help your downtown economically. So every project we do, if we're going to plant flowers, what's our expectation? Maybe it's that we get the garden club involved now. We have 10 new volunteers. Maybe we're doing banners that are art, done by artists in the community, things like that. How will we involve people? So that's our process. As I said, when we look at that market data, we say, who is your downtown serving? It could be, you know, downtowns have different assets. They might have different consumer groups. I talked about being in Parkersburg, West Virginia. They have 6,000 people who work in their downtown. Well, there's a consumer group you better be targeting. Forget doing farmers market on Saturday. There's 6,000 people here Monday through Friday. We better move that farmers market to like Thursday or Friday so people take advantage of it. We ought to offer discount specials to those people. We ought to have lunch specials that will only take 30 minutes, because some of them only have a 30-minute lunch. might have consumer groups, you might also have a strength in product lines. You might have a mix of all of those things. So we look at that as well. So I want to show you an example. I changed it from this morning, so any of the board members who were here this morning, I changed the example. I was out in Brush, Colorado. Anybody ever been to Brush, Colorado? It's kind of east of Denver, out in the flat part of the state. And so we were working with them, and I said, you know, what I see as a strength in your downtown is agritourism and ranching. And well, they didn't like that. They didn't want to be known as a cowpoke town. And then I said, but look at your welcome sign, it says homegrown happiness. To me that says you're proud of your agricultural heritage. And then I went throughout their downtown, and their barber shop has a horse. They got businesses like Downtown Duds, True Grits in the country store. Their Main Street logo has a spur on it. And their high school mascot, or name, are the Beet Diggers, because they grow sugar beets in Brush. It's their major crop. I had to buy a t-shirt because Beet Diggers was such a cool name. And I'm like, so you sure agriculture is not part of your makeup here and something that you're proud of? Well, then all of a sudden they went, okay, you're right. We should build on what one of our biggest assets is. And so we took them through the 4 points. And we said, really, you need to focus your work in these areas. So let's get people who are involved in agriculture to join us in developing this strategy. Let's maybe apply to USDA to get grant money to help us with our farmers market, or to help us set up a community kitchen, etc. We're going to have ranchers and farmers. We're going to get kids from FFA and 4-H involved. We need to get the youth in our community involved in this process. And I told a story this afternoon. I've been doing this a long time. I'll just say that. But I have to sort of give the year away, which is 1989 is when I started my career. So I'm 30 years into Main Street. 7 years as a Jonathan, as a local Main Street executive director. But in 1989, we started our Christmas parade. 5 years ago, they invited me back to be the parade marshal of the 25th annual Bridge to Wonderland parade. I was so honored. Of course, I had to buy my own plane ticket, but I got there for it. But every year, Main Street did Santa's float. And it was the biggest and best float in the parade. It was the last one that brought him in his carriage. And then we always let 12 kids were chosen to ride with Santa. The Prince and Princess of Wonderland, and then the 10 Elves of Wonderland. They got chosen by donating food to our food pantry. Now, I could have taken that truckload of food down to the food pantry myself. We had those 12 kids take the food to the food pantry. So they understood why they were giving the food and what the need was. But when I went back to be the parade marshal at the 25th annual, I realized that those kids in 1st and 2nd grade, 7 and 8-year-olds, in 1989 were now in their 30s, and they were on the board of directors. So this is a process. Main Street doesn't go away. We're never done with downtown revitalization. So we work on that. So there's organization things. Under promotion, they didn't have a farmer's market, so they started that. They were going to host a farm-to-table dinner to celebrate and use the products grown around the community. They were going to do sugar beet bowling as a fun activity. So even if they were doing a squealing on the square, they were going to incorporate sugar beet bowling, which, my picture, there's the sugar beet right here. See, that's not going to bowl real easy, so it's going to be fun to watch, right? Everybody there has pickup trucks, so they're not doing a car show, they're going to do an ugly pickup contest. Have farm art contests, do ag tours, and do promotions that are specifically targeted to those people. Under design, they might, do planters in downtown with fresh herbs and let people come and pick them for their own home use. They're going to do a historic walking tour, and they're going to put hoof prints on the sidewalk, not footprints, so it ties in. And where they had vacant storefronts, they're going to put farm implements in the window. And then when they do murals, it was going to be to celebrate their agricultural heritage. So that if I did drive into Brush, I would see all this and sort of recognize what the community was about. And under economic enhancement activity, just surveying people to find out what they need. They might come together as a community to launch their own department store. They did this in Rawlins, Wyoming. They sold shares, and they opened a full-line department store that carried clothing about 4 or 5 price points above Walmart, which was the only other place in town to buy clothing. A very successful store. Get restaurants that'll grow product on site, encourage more restaurants to buy their products locally, and even encourage people to name their businesses, something that fits in with that mix. And then, this is just when we look at business recruitment, these are the kind of businesses we might look for that would be missing in Brush, and we could go out and recruit. It's not all retail, it's some office kind of things, but we have sort of lists of businesses if you're using a certain strategy that you go out and recruit that. Does that make sense? We have this big strategy that says what we're really good at is our agricultural and ranching heritage. Let's incorporate that into downtown because those ranchers, they have a lot of money. We want them in our downtown, spending it and building our reputation on that. So let me go through the survey with you, and then we'll talk about what strategy might work for Lawrence, and then I want to get your feedback to say, are we on the right track here, or does somebody have some other ideas? So 330 people completed the survey, which was absolutely wonderful. The first question we asked was, give us 3 words that you would use to describe downtown Lawrence today. The bigger the word shows up in this word cloud, the more of you who said it. So most of you said historic. That's what you think of when you think of downtown Lawrence. Quaint, potential. So empty is a little bit big and old. Old can be good. That is also another word for historic. But for the most part, you have really positive words in your word cloud, which is wonderful what you think about your downtown. We also asked, what are the top 3 issues facing downtown? We gave you some to choose from. The top 3 was, you said there are buildings in need of repair and rehabilitation. Number 2 is store variety. There's not enough store variety down here for you. And the 3rd is vacancies. And sometimes you don't know that some of these vacant properties are actually under contract and people are developing businesses to go in them. But when buildings are vacant, you notice, right? And then the other 2, which were much lower numbers, were parking and inconsistent hours. And that's typical for downtowns where we have independent businesses who set their own hours. Unlike a shopping mall that's open 9 to 9, 6 days a week, and half day on Sunday. We also said, what businesses do you patronize the most? I went there today. So y'all love eating at Roma, right? What are y'all doing here? You're eating and drinking coffee, right? So that's something that's important to know, that this is what you're all coming here for now. So that shows us what one of the strengths of your downtown is that you've got independent restaurants, locally owned restaurants that you all like eating at. So we're also coming for retail products as well. Then we asked you, what 3 business types would you like to see more of, or some that aren't here that you want to have here. Look at the top 3. You're telling us you want more dining. You want some pub, fine dining, brewery. You also would like to see a bookstore. You would like to have more entertainment options. So as we met with some of the focus groups today, I'm like, what does that mean to you? What do you want? So we have to drill down. Entertainment's a big category. You'd like to see more things for children and kids, and additional clothing as well. So that kind of gives us an idea. Again, we think about then what would our transformation strategy be. We also just wanted to know people's habits. What time of the day do you most typically shop? Not just in downtown, after 5 p.m. It makes sense, right? We're off work. That's when a lot of people will do their shopping. And there's a good group of 1 to 5 p.m. Sometimes people get out on their lunch hour and can take care of tasks or whatever. So sometimes when we have businesses that are only open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and maybe a half a day on Saturday, we would typically say they're catering to the unemployed. Because how else am I going to shop there if I'm working during those same hours, right? We also asked what day of the week do you do most of your shopping? Saturday. But what I heard from some of your businesses is Saturday is very slow here. So that gives us an opportunity to ramp up what's going on Saturdays here. I also heard that Small Business Saturday, the Saturday following Black Friday, that American Express promotes for us, is one of the best days for retailers here. So we know people will come on Saturday. So we maybe have to think about how we activate that just a little bit more. We also just asked where people live, so we could see if we had a balance of people answering the survey. A good portion lived within just a half mile of your downtown. Another good portion's in the city, in the county, and we even had a few people outside the county who maybe drive in to Lawrence respond to the survey. We asked, would you live in downtown if you could? Well, the majority answer is no, because most of you have your own homes already. You want a yard, you have kids. It doesn't make sense necessarily for you to live in downtown. But what we do like to look at is how many of you actually said yes, and how many said unsure. So 16% already live here, but 42% of the people not already living in downtown would consider it. That is a significant number. Why do we want to live downtown? I'm looking for that experience. I'm done mowing my lawn. I don't want to shovel 2 feet of snow anymore, and we'll get that. And people want to downsize. We want to live in places that I can walk and get my coffee, I can walk to church, I can walk to the post office, and sort of downsize. And both baby boomers and millennials are looking for that living experience. Millennials, because they get to live in funky, cool places if we rehab the upper stories in downtown. Some of the fun, neatest places to live. Here were, again, the reasons people told us that they might not want to live in downtown. And they all make sense. Right now, there aren't necessarily any good options. It costs a lot to rehab upper stories. These other, it doesn't say anything bad about downtown Lawrence. They just have other reasons for not being here. We also, just looked at where people work and got a good cross-section of the different places from in downtown, elsewhere in the city, the county, quite a number who work outside. That's a good number of people who work at home as well. Students, retired, unemployed, etc. And then we asked how old we are. So if we were looking at adding youth businesses in downtown, we might want to do some more surveying here, because it's always tough to get youth to complete these surveys. But otherwise, I think you had a good balance in the age categories in response to the survey. And then this was a fun part. We asked everybody, this was free-flowing, you could answer however you wanted. We asked people to give us one sentence on what they thought the future of downtown Lawrence should be. The little town that could, did. I like that. I like that one. Our town should be a dynamic and vibrant space where folks can enjoy being at any time of the day or evening all week long. Let's make it used 365 days a year. I would love for downtown to have restaurants and shopping options and activities for all ages. I'd like to see another upscale restaurant along with pubs and apartments. This is where you're telling me what your vision is. a place where families gather to eat. Brides want to have their receptions, and storefronts are not empty. A vibrant, artistic, entertaining, foodie that is a day and overnight destination for local, state, and regional travelers. Here's a few more. Fun, family-friendly place to dine, shop, and enjoy. Would love for Lawrence to be what's the name of the town? Thank you. I said Fort. Yeah. But that's how it was in the survey, so I'm not familiar. A town focused on weekly live entertainment. We're hearing entertainment, we're hearing dining, we're hearing arts, we're hearing family. Safe and friendly user like it originally was. A variety of venues. Spectacularly and elegantly lit at night. We've already started with the alley lighting projects. Thriving community, historically significant and economically viable. We got to get the storefronts filled for them to be economically viable. Accessible, affordable. We want to have not just boutique-y items, keep the old look and modernize the inside, like this building. A revised destination for shopping and entertainment, a downtown that provides the necessities and the niceties. I liked that one. I would love to see affordable housing as part of the downtown, and that it is a resident's first choice. That this is the place we think of coming first for our entertainment, dining, and shopping. So this is just a sample, because we had 330 responses to that, but there was a theme throughout, as I mentioned. We looked at market data. I'm not going to share a lot of this with you, but what we did is we can pull market data. We call it doing market analysis light, and we get this information from Esri, and they pull it from a lot of different sources. But we looked at a 5-mile radius from the center of your downtown, 10 and 20-mile drive times. So we could sort of see what was going on economically in each of those areas. We also looked at demographic data. How many of there are you here? What's your spending potential? What's your income level? Home ownership rates, education, psychographics, etc. I know this got a little pixelated. But here's your education level over here, saying how many completed high school graduates, some college, beyond that, your population. Here's your median age at 39.2, which is only about a year older than the national average, so you're right in line with the age of your community as well. Number of employees in your workforce. We think the unemployment number is off over there. It's probably something more like 3 to 4% right there. We also looked at psychographics. Anybody know what psychographics are? I sort of have the explanation there, but it's the study of your personalities, your values, your opinions, your attitudes, your interests, and your lifestyle. There's people out there who study how different sections of the country behave. And your number one psychographic category, which is about 30-some%, is called Hardscrabble Road. And some of the things that we pulled out of there is that this is primarily a family market, married couples with children or without children and single parents. It says you have a lot of renters in about 3/5 the households. Here was an important thing that we pulled out is that you are cost conscious. Purchasers, you like to buy items in bulk and on sale, and you'll take generic over brand names if it saves you money. So then when we think about, well, let's see, that's kind of in conflict with we'd like a wait tablecloth restaurant, right? So we have to be careful because the second, I didn't put the second one in there, was small town simplicity, also noted that you're price conscious. So if we're recruiting any businesses or restaurants, we want to make sure we're not going way above the price point that would be supported here. Again, in this one it says you favor shopping at your local discount store, you search for bargains on the internet, or purchasing from in-home sales reps as well. So there's a lot of information that goes along with this. We kind of look at it and say, how can we use any of it? If we're going to add new events, like here, we prefer to listen to gospel, R&B, rap, and hip-hop music. And Jonathan said if we add country to it, we'd be all set here. So if we're going to do a concert series, you know, out on the square, we should probably have music from one of these genres, right? Maybe jazz isn't the one, I'm not positive. We also looked at what already exists here. You know, what's the business makeup of the district as well. So, you know, no dominant thing, but except dining and entertainment. You know, that's what you're leading with here. That's what you have the most businesses in, and that includes, you know, coffee shops as well. Theater falls under entertainment as well. You have a nice balance, a nice mix of things that are here. And then we also looked at your sales void analysis. We look at, again, what you're best at selling, what categories, and where we're having to go elsewhere to buy things. So through all this economic data, it knows how much disposable income you all have based on your population and your salary. And then it looks at all the retail categories, and it can tell if you're all spending your money at home or if you're going to Greenville, not just there, but if you have to leave town and spend money. So if you're all spending your money here, we have a surplus. And if you have to go someplace else and buy things, you have a leakage. So the leakage is where we have to go elsewhere to buy things. And a surplus might mean, you know what, your restaurants are destinations. We heard that. People come from other cities all around to eat at Roma and some of your other restaurants and to come here. Then we have a surplus, and that shows what we would have a strength in. So this one's a little hard to read, but these are the categories in which Lawrence has a surplus. That means you're all able to find those products here. You're shopping local, which is good, but those are the categories that we're losing money in. And that gives us an opportunity for us to recruit those businesses here and stop that leakage. Let's keep that sales tax generating here. So the ones that you're good in, automobile dealers, auto parts, electronics and appliances, groceries, health care, gasoline station, shoes, department store, general merchandise, florist, which is good, used merchandise, other miscellaneous, and restaurants. It's a slight surplus. The things that you're leaking in, drinking places, alcoholic beverages, those are some odd categories. Jewelry is leaking out, clothing stores, maybe that's the shoe store there, beer, wine, liquor, lawn and garden, building materials, home furnishings, and other motor vehicle dealers. So it's good that you have that many that are on the surplus side. That's actually, it's better. I've been in communities where everything is on the leakage side. That's why they're working on downtown revitalization, because everybody leaves town to get stuff. So just some notes, and again, we have that broken down in 5, 10, and 20 miles, and Jonathan has all that information. But what we found is residents are mainly using downtown for dining, and you're all looking for a brewery, looking for some place to have that entertainment. Housing has a potential, given the responses in the survey, and it says that there's a large market, again, for millennials and seniors. It suggests that you have leakage in dining establishments, and that bodes well for us bringing in that brewery. And while restaurants do show a surplus, it's a small surplus. And so that indicates that there is room for additional restaurant development here. The business mix shows that you have opportunity there. And there's also potential to have a grocery store within 1 mile of the downtown. So those are, you know, there's a lot of analysis that goes into reading all the sheets on that. We also say you have to build it on your assets, right? So what are some of the community and place-based things you already have going on for you here. You've got city and county facilities in the downtown. You have a great historic building stock intact in the downtown. You were in the second season of the town hall makeover, and the developments that happened with that. You know, your place of deep roots is what is promoted on the Main Street webpage. You have a lot of events that draw people into the downtown district. You have great opportunity for property development projects like this one right here, others that we heard about in some of the buildings. And then, you know, how many of you knew you were the home to Pink Anderson and Gary Davis, who were blues musicians? And I only looked up today J.T. Taylor, the lead singer for Kool and the Gang. And there's already talk about doing a blues festival. That makes sense for Lawrence, right? Build on your assets. This is your claim to fame. So nobody else has that. I was in Gary, Indiana during this visit. What do you think of when you think of Gary, Indiana? Michael Jackson. What else? Gary, Indiana, right? It's all music. So I go to Gary, they too said, well, you know, we can't do the Jacksons. They have like copyright on that. And I'm like, no, they don't. You know, next time I went back, they had a cool Jackson mural painted on the exit right off the interstate. And we talked to them about opening record shops, recording studios. They've torn down half the downtown, so they can pull up a big stage and have music concerts and things like that. And two of the theaters that the Jacksons performed at still stand. They were close to tearing one down. But you can rehab them and repurpose them. So build on your assets. Those are your assets. Don't forget about it. That's what makes Lawrence unique. So here are the two transformation strategies that we think Lawrence should consider. We can sort of combine it to